All right, welcome back to It's Time Picks. We've got UFC Fight Night 243, Renato Moicano going against Benoit Saint Denis. And it's about time we got back to 14, a 14 fight card because all these little 10 and 11 fight cards have just been absolutely ridiculous, especially when it comes to DFS, DraftKings, and FanDuel. So definitely happy to be back on the 14 cards. I'm really excited for this main event. It's always good to see BSD back in the ring. Joey, how you feeling about it?
It's a good card. We got 14 fights, and fights are fights. Always good to be back. And if you guys hear me interact, my other side, I'm currently live on TikTok. I'm testing it out, see how it works. Yeah, Katie, I'm live. I'm just testing out some UFC stuff.
All right. Well, first things first, let's jump right into it. We got Balaji Oki going against Chris Duncan. As always, Joy, we'll kick it to you to start it off.
So Oki, is a good striker. Came from the Contender Series. He fought Timothy Kawamba short notice. I thought Kawamba actually won, even up a weight class. And Chris Duncan, well-rounded, comes from American Top Team in Florida. Well-rounded. He does get rocked at times, which he's wild as shit for, but I do like the dog here in Chris Duncan. I think he can mix in takedowns. If you're telling me an undersized Kawamba can take you down, I think Chris Duncan can do it because he's a lot stronger. And at 7,400 on DraftKings, I think he's a great play.
Yeah,
As long as he doesn't get knocked out.
I don't disagree with you. Like you and I have already talked about, I'm on Chris Duncan as well. I think that he hasn't quite tapped into the potential that we know he has, especially seeing him fight on the other side of the UFC. Uh, there's a lot of ifs going into this fight for both guys. Oki did not look that impressive in his debut. Duncan has also not exactly looked the most impressive, but he did have his first two wins and then got his, I think it was the first loss last time out. Uh, yes, that is correct. Going against Torres a bit. Torres is a climbing prospect, so it's not really, harmful that he lost there. That said, I'm on Duncan. I think that he's going to pull this out. I need to see more from Oki, and it's just you kind of have to hope that Duncan's IQ stays in play because it has been lacking at times.
Hello, Mama Shay.
So both of us going with the underdog in Chris Duncan. Next up, we got Nora Conorle going against Jacqueline Cavalcanti. And Joey, you might be a little surprised on this one because I was all over Cavalcanti against her last fight against Nunes. This fight, I'm actually going with Cornole. For me, as far as a DFS play, it's Cornole or nothing because I don't think Cavalcanti can put up enough volume in this fight to score well for DFS purposes. Uh, as far as knockouts go, Cornole is the only one that really would. To would be the only one to score the knockout in this fight because Cavalcanti doesn't have that kind of power. So I'm on Cornole. It's not the most, it's not the best pick in the world, but as far as DFS goes, uh, you basically want her to win if you're gonna go anywhere. So it's another dog for me. I'm going with Cornole.
That's not a bad pick necessarily. I'm on Calicante. This is actually a rematch from like 3 years ago. I know Calicante won, but both fighters have gotten better. But if you tell me now that it's in France, and if Calicante has the same backing up bullshit game plan in France, and we know Nora is going to come in with aggressive, throw heavy hands, this is a split decision for Nola all the way. I think the value is on the dog. But I'm going Cantante. Not playing either side of this fight since I do have the favorite. I don't think it scores well for shit. But if you're on a side where you think Nora's going to put up some decent volume and land, she's a decent price tag at 7,500.
Yeah, that's not bad. For everybody that's joined in, I'm currently recording our video for It's Time Picks with my buddy Joey. You can find us on YouTube. It's where we upload all of our videos. Uh, so both of us in that fight are split. I'm going with the dog and Nora Quinole. Joey's got the favorite in Cavalcanti. Next up, we have a fight that I'm actually kind of interested in. Daniel Perez going against Victor Altamirano. And Joey, let's kick it over to you to start this one off.
So this fight should be a good fight. Two flyweights. You're gonna see a lot of action, a lot of volume. Barres is well rounded. He got into the UFC a tad late. I think he's like 34, 35 right now.
35.
But he's pretty good though. He at one point he did have advantages during against what's the name? Fiallo before he got submitted. He has power in his hands and he's a good wrestler. Victor Altamirano, he hasn't had the best luck in the UFC, but he has two bad split decisions, which I thought he won personally. Um, I don't know how he lost against Felipe Dos Anjos. He had 9 freaking takedowns, and I don't understand. I guess the UFC doesn't like wrestling anymore, but I'm going Daniel Barres. I think he's gonna be the stronger fighter out of the two. I think Victor Altamirano can have the volume advantage on the feet because he does have good combinations and jabs. But I think Barrios is gonna definitely get the takedowns and probably win a control time type decision.
I don't hate it. I was super close when when I was going through this. This is also another fight that I don't really expect a high finish. I know that Barres finishes a lot of his fights, but he also hasn't fought anybody quite like Altamirano. Altamirano is really well rounded. He has fought the better competition. I am going to side with him, but I will probably avoid this fight for DFS. It's not something that I think would make the optimal.
I
Um,
don't blame you.
but that's yeah, that's where I'm at on it. So I'm sticking with the. I think he's still a slight favorite. Yeah,
On my book, he's a dog right now.
is he really?
Yeah.
He's the one on Bovada. He's a favorite. So we'll stick to
Plus
that way.
110.
We're split
Plus
on that
110
one.
dog.
Okay. Joey's got Daniel Barres. I've got Victor Altamirano. Next up, we've got Eileen Perez going against Daria Zelensyakova. I should have had you pronounce that first. You
Fuck
should
no.
probably just say Daria.
Yep.
Uh, this is a for me. This is kind of an easy fight. I've got Eileen Perez all day. So Daria had a bit of a she struggled with her grappling in her first fight in her debut fight against Montserrat Rendon, and Rendon's really not that great of a fighter. Perez is much better. She'll be better on the ground. She'll be probably about the same in striking. I actually wouldn't be surprised if she got outstruck in this one for as long as it's on the feet. But Perez should dominate this on the fight. It should be a cakewalk for her as soon as she gets it to the mat. I wouldn't be surprised to see her finish either with 5+ takedowns or an early submission or ground and pound finish in here.
I'm gonna make it easy. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce the old girl's name. I'm not gonna do it. Not even for the content. No thanks, no how. I'll give it to her. She's a good striker, but she got outstruck by Rendon, who's a terrible striker. And Rendon had takedowns and she had control, and somehow good old Blondie won, and her face looked like beat up hamburger meat.
Beat up
I'm
hamburger.
going. I'm gonna go the twerking queen, Miss Aline Perez, because when she does get the takedown, I will not complain. It's a good sight to see. And when she wins, it's even a lot better because we get a good after fight show. Um, but yeah, 9,100. She could definitely get the takedowns going. She could potentially get between 4 to 6 in this fight, control time, or as you said, usually she has good ground and pound. She might be able to get her out of there. So 9,100, you're gonna look at this price range at 9K. You definitely gotta get the two proper ones right, and I think she could potentially be one of them.
Yeah, for sure. So both of us are on the favorite in this one, Eileen Perez. Next up, we've got Taylor Lapilus going against Vince Morales. And Joy, who you siding with on this one?
I'm gonna say this one. This is your 1-800. If you want to go to the bathroom, go get some food. You know, maybe take your dog outside to go potty. But Lapis, I've been a fan of him. I like watching him fight. If he gets more finishes, I think he can get pushed up a tad higher. But he's your type of guy where he's gonna hit and move. And Vince Morales is coming back after a fight win streak outside the UFC, and he's getting finishes outside the UFC. Best talent competition, not really. But hey, you're getting 5 fights, your second opportunity. I'd rather take a stab at the dog for DFS, but I am picking Lapis. 6,900 for Morales. He is well rounded. If he can go in there and try to mix in takedowns similar to what Basharat did to Lapis, 6,900, I think that's an absolute smash price. But I honestly think that he's going to need a finish because I don't trust these French judges necessarily. The last time they went to France, a lot of French fighters did win. Could it happen again? Yes. Could it be opposite? It very much could, but I'm on Lapis, probably decision, 9,300. I'm not touching that tag, even with your money.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that. I even said in my article for RotoWire that it'll probably be a lower scoring decision, but I do have Lapilus winning. I think he completely outpoints Morales. Morales' striking has never been his strong point. That's why he went to the other circuit and I pulled off 2 or 3 submission wins. Um, the thing that I don't like about Lapis is he's generally a slow starter and he stays kind of slow throughout the fight. If he were to come in and he were to throw more volume or even use takedowns of his own, I'd probably be much more inclined to use him. But I got Lapless. It'll probably be a lower scoring decision. So
I absolutely agree.
both of us are on the favorite in Taylor Lapless. Next up, we're going Ludovic Klein against Roosevelt Roberts, and this is, I mean, when Roberts came back into the UFC, I know why he got back in because he earned his way back. I still don't believe that he belongs in the UFC. His second debut fight, I guess you can call it, kind of proved that. I don't know what he's going to do to try to beat Klein in this fight. I have no path for him to win unless he gets a lucky knockout, which is unlikely against Klein given the propensity of Klein's kicks. I've got Klein all day, but I actually do not see this fight scoring well because I don't see Klein getting a finish.
So that was one of my sneaky plays, but I think Klein could get a finish. Maybe not round one, because I think he's going to try to find the range. He's going to try to use his kicks to get inside. Roosevelt does get taken down, and he just damn near got his arm ripped off by Rebecca.
Mateusz Rebecca, yeah.
And what I think is going to be live here is a sneaky play, which I'm looking at is maybe Klein by submission. He has a lot of submissions outside the UFC. He's been mixing in takedowns, and once Roosevelt gets down, he's very durable and easily to get caught by sub. So as a potential straight play, I am looking at probably Klein by submission.
That's fair. I mean,
But with no finish, this fight doesn't pay off.
I think he's been submitted what twice in his career now.
Yeah, Robert
Yeah.
J.
So knocked out one, submitted twice. I mean, he's only got 4 losses. It's not like he's awful. He's just not UFC caliber. I'm not really sure how this fight came to fruition. It would seem that Klein should be
Oh,
fighting somebody much
Roberts
above him.
is a short notice replacement.
That's
It
right.
was supposed to be AJ Cunningham, which that would have been
That'd
not
been a fun
Cunningham.
fight.
Nicholas Mata. Now that would have been
Oh, right,
entertaining.
right, right.
Now that would have been an entertaining fight.
That could have been fun. But either way, we are the same again on that one. We are both going with the favorite in Ludovic Klein. Next up, we have Omar Sy going against Dawoon Young. And Joey, I already know where you're at on this one, but let's hear it.
So if anyone that doesn't know, that doesn't follow me on Twitter, or follow me on TikTok, Sai is my flag. And here's the thing: I usually don't go big favorite, but the prediction I am going, he's going to win inside the distance. You can get under -200 as a bet. But I think there's a live chance that Jung does have good takedown defense for the most. But look, he just got submitted by Olbert. I don't think the fight's gonna last as long. And I actually like my man Omar Sy to actually get his first knockout in the UFC.
Man, that is definitely out there, man. I do have Cy winning. I do think that you need to have both sides of this fight in DFS in order to cover everywhere because I do not see this fight going the distance. Dawoon Young is still a really dangerous fighter. He's finished 13 of 15. He can grapple, he can submit, he can also knock you out. He can also use ground and pound. So, I mean, it's not a fight where Sai is going to be able to come in and just lay waste to him immediately. If he rushes forward, he could get himself caught, and that'll screw a lot of people. We saw it last week with Ketlin Souza and Uregi, where Uregi was a high favorite. She got smashed. You could be looking at the same thing here. It's not like Sai has been super tested yet. But that said, I do have Sai winning. I do think he gets it done within the first 2 rounds.
Agreed.
It makes him a solid play, but I would have pieces of Young in other contests.
Not me.
So both of us are on the favorite in Sai. Next up, we got Ian Kutalaba going against Ivan Urslan. And you might be surprised by my pick in this one because I usually go with Kutalaba in just about every fight. I am not in this one. And it's mainly because I'm not worried. I'm more worried about his cardio than anything. Both of these guys have big power. They're both, they both kind of like to walk forward and swing hard. Kutalaba, his durability is really, really starting to become a question, and I cannot trust it in the slightest. So I went with Urslan. He is a small dog, I believe, still.
On my book,
So
it's 105.
yeah, so I'm going with Urslan. Joy, who are you going with?
So this is weird because I think you're definitely gonna need a piece of this fight for your GPPs. Kutalaba, could he mix in some takedowns? Very much well. He's a strong guy. But durability absolutely sucks. And I wrote down 6 of his 10 losses are in round 1. And was it? No, 4. 6 in the first two rounds, which that's also could score well at 7,900 for Ursuline. I got Ursuline. All his KO wins are in round 1, and he has 2 wins under 60 seconds. I'm not predicting 60 seconds, but I'm saying that if he gets a knockout round 1, he's going to at least get 100 plus.
Yeah, he should. I mean, it's almost guaranteed with 90 and then a knockdown is 10. So I mean, it
Yeah.
doesn't happen often where you get it and it's not at least 100 points in a first round finish. Give me just 1 second, Joey. I'm going to pause it for a
Yes, sir.
second. No. All right, so back at it. Both of us are going with the slight dog, Ivan Urslan. Next up, we are going to Ferris Zayam going against Matt Frivola. I know a lot of people are on the dog in this matchup. Joey, where are you at? Are you going away from your boy? I doubt it.
So I know Favola's my dude. Been my dude since the UFC. I've seen him fight. I met him in AC. Cool as fuck. I'm gonna be real about this fight. If there's a finish, it's probably gonna be from Pravola.
Yep.
Him either landing one of those right hands and flatlining Ziam, or let's see if we can get the takedowns going. But I give Ziam credit. His takedown defense have gotten a lot better. Without a finish, this fight's gonna score
I
shitty.
mean, it's gotten better. He got taken down 7 times by Pueles in his last fight, and somehow they gave him the win.
I don't know how about that one, but if I don't know, Pravola hasn't used his wrestling that much. If he uses wrestling, he's gonna absolutely cruise. But I think he needs to actually put stamping rounds. I got this weird fit. I'm going Pravola, but at the same time, if he doesn't get a finish, I don't trust it. Like I said, another fight where I don't trust the judges. Ziam could win some point split decision bullshit,
Yeah.
but I'm going with my boy. But I may stay away from this fight. I got too many. Ugh.
I'm a little different about it. I am on Frivola, but I do think he gets the job done. Farazayam he's just too slow. He's too I don't know what the word is for it, but I don't think that he's a plus fighter. I think that he likes to sit back too much. I think he likes to try to use his range too much. Frivola already knows how to get inside the pocket, and I think that he does. I don't think that he's going to have an issue, knocking his lights out. Uh, I know that Ziam has not finished anybody in the UFC. I don't think he got submitted, so he hasn't been knocked out, but we've all seen Frivola's stopping power, and it's pretty deadly.
You want to know a funny fact about these two fighters?
So
They both lost to my boy T Rex.
yeah, and then McKinney just dropped off.
Hey man, he's apparently still in the UFC from what I saw, but we'll see.
He just needs to fight smarter. But that's for another day. So both of
Yep.
us are on the slight dog, I believe he is still. Where's he at right now?
Pravola
Yes.
is plus
He's
110.
yep, that's what I got as well. So both of us are on the slight dog and Matt Frivola. Next up we got are we a main card now? Yeah.
Cherrier.
Morgan Cherry going against short notice Gabriel Miranda. I talked to Joey a little bit about this fight as we were, coming into this. I like Cherry to win this, but this is not a fight that I feel comfortable taking him in any type of parlay or anything else because Gabriel Miranda, the second that this hits the mat, is extremely dangerous. It's not a guy that you want to grapple with. Cherry's takedown defense can be suspect at times. His grappling can be suspect at times. His best option here is to use his kicks, keep Miranda as far away as possible, and just make this a rangy striking battle. I do think that there's going to be times where Cherry is in danger, and it's just going to be dependent on how he gets out of it. But I do have Cherry winning this fight, especially if he goes to a decision, given the nature of the Paris judges and their French fighters. We've all seen how that goes with Abu Dhabi and everywhere else. It's really old, but it does happen. So I'm on Cherry. Joey, how you feeling about it?
So I thought Cherrier beat Chepe. It was a hell of a fight.
It was a hell of a
Um,
fight.
I was probably one of the better fights of the year so far. I'll say if you want to do it inside top 10 ranking, but I'm not doing that right now. Um, Originally, this is where I had it confused. Originally, Cherrier was supposed to fight AJ Cunningham, and that was going to be a smash spot. I was going to play his KO prop because Cunningham's a punching dummy, for Christ's sake. Um, but I do give it to Miranda. His striking's not good, but he does have decent power. But if any point, if Charrier does get clinched up against the cage, everyone that has him in a parlay is gonna be shitting bricks. Because if Miranda is one of those old school guys, he will try to snatch. I'm not playing him at 9,500. I'm not playing it to minus 700. The only thing I would play is maybe Charrier inside the distance. Because I think there's a chance he could get a finish. Miranda's durability ain't the greatest, and he can get TKO'd. So as a bet, it's probably Charrier by knockout, but DFS, anything else, I'm not touching it.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you, man. It's tough because you just don't know. These short notice fights always suck, man. You don't know what's going to happen or what's going to come of it. So both of us are on the favorite, though. We both are on Morgan Charrier. Next up, we have one of the potential fights of the night. We got Kevin Jousset going against Brian Battle. Are you still going with ex Pooh Bear?
So this fight's actually gonna be a good one. I got a lot of shit when I actually picked Brian Battle to win Ultimate Fighter, and he, fought my dude Petrosky. I got a lot of hate from people in New Jersey when I said that it could happen, and it did. But they forgave me eventually. Um, his reemergence is actually looks pretty good. He once fought a heavyweight, worked his way down to 170.
That
And
makes
it's not like
sense.
yeah, it made a lot of sense. He definitely is like I call him more of a sponge fighter. He didn't really have one background. He blossomed into being like well-rounded to an extent. Kevin Jousset, a lot of people actually notice he actually started in a martial art. He was a sambo fighter, where if you get close to him, he will judo toss the living shit out you and get good time position on the ground. Then he went to city kickboxing with Adesanya, and now you see he's one of those fighters with a high guard and go boom. I'm actually going Kevin Jousset. I'll tell you right now, he was almost my Planet Dog Fighter of the week if
You're
I
out of
did a
your
dog.
fucking mind.
Can you tell you why? I'll tell you this why. One, nothing against Fakardinov. Fakardinov is a well-rounded guy also, has wrestling. He's also one thing I love about Jusset as a dog. One, he actually started in a young art in Sambo at a young age, meaning he started with good takedowns, good control. Boom. Then his striking is good combinations. The only thing I do worry about in this fight, he has the he has almost like that tall man syndrome where he's does drop his hand. We saw that against Kiefer Crosby. Kiefer Crosby did touch him a couple times.
Mhm.
And if depends on what Battle's game plan is. If Battle comes out and tries to bull rush similar to Gabe Green, he could be live for a 60-second knockout. Or if he tries to clinch up, which I don't recommend clinching up in this fight by any means, I say use your range, use your combinations in this fight if you are picking Battle. If he gets close in a clinch, I think Jousset's going to take him right the fuck down. We're going to see a well-rounded Jousset. And one thing I think is very live, I think he might even get a submission.
We are on opposite sides of this one, very much
And
so.
he doesn't have the Pooh Bear nickname anymore.
I know he's the butcher. That's why I said ex Pooh
I
Bear.
don't like that. I don't like that. Doesn't fit me.
No, I can't agree with any of your points. The only thing that I feel Jusset has is his technical striking. He is very pinpoint, just like Adesanya. He's beaten two people. He beat Sang Kanan and
Kiefer
Kiefer
Crosby, which
Crosby. He has not fought anybody. I will not trust him until I see him fight somebody, which would
he
be
fought
this
Jack
fight.
Della.
Yeah, in the UFC. Look at
Oh, okay.
the evolution of Jack Della, man.
Jack
Uh,
Della.
Brian Battle has exceeded everybody's everything that they thought that he was going to be. He has kind of just surpassed all of that. He has taken steps in every one of his fights. He was winning the Angelusa fight pretty badly until Angelusa started crying like a baby and decided to quit. And I'm still fucking upset about that fight. It was bullshit. Both of us though are. I would say you're still you're at least a battle backer. Yeah.
Yeah, I picked against people I like. I still love Battle. It's just like I think this fight's gonna be nail close. A sleeper GPP fight where I think both guys are gonna have their moments.
That's fair. I do agree with that the both fighters will have their moments, but I think that Battle is the better. I think he'll get outpointed a little bit on his feet, and he'll be the one that takes this to the mat. And I think that he is
I,
going to out grapple Jusset.
I'll be shocked on that one. But hey, I've been wrong before.
It'll be tough, but I do think whoever the winner of this fight is, I do think they're going to score well for DFS. So it's definitely a fight to have one side or the other. So we are split on this one. Joey's going with the dog at Kevin Doucette. I'm going with the favorite in Brian Battle. Next up, we've got William Gomez going against Joe Anderson Burrito. And let's see here. What?
None.
We laughing about?
Go ahead. You're going first.
Yeah, I've got Burrito. I don't think Gomez stands a chance in this fight. I still don't think that he's a good fighter. I think he's been lucky to have some of the wins that he has. Burrito is one of the most dangerous fighters in the UFC, and we've seen it time and time again in all of his fights, whether it's on the mat or his ridiculous power. So I got Burrito by just whatever way he feels like winning this fight within 2 rounds.
So, do you remember when I picked William Gomez to beat Gene Silva? And thank God that fight never happened. Because if he
Mhm.
would have, that fight would have happened the way he looked on the scale, we probably would never see William Gomez again. He probably gets sent to the shadow realm. Um,
Probably.
Only thing I'll say about this fight before you call me out saying I'll be crazy if I pick him.
Are you taking Gomez?
No, I am not taking Gomez.
Whew.
I saw your face. But the only thing I will give two credits for, one, I give Gomez credit. He has good footwork. I'll give him that. Two, he's very defensive sound. That can also be due to, he has good due to the footwork and he tends to run a little bit. There's that. Three, I give to him. He has good defensive counter striking when he does let his hands go, for Christ's sake, which I wish he would, because if he did, then maybe I'll be slightly more confident to pick him in, these type of brawls. I'm not picking him for this fight, but I will be careful because if this fight, Burrito does throw wild, he does tend to bring
Does.
his hand back. If he doesn't land, I can see Gomez landing a maybe a nice little one with a kick. This fight could potentially be Burrito. Potentially, if I'm Burrito, take him down. For Christ's sake, take him down. You could easily outwhelm him, and you could probably get a finish under 2, like my boy Drake said. Or if he decides to act like he's the freaking Juggernaut from the X-Men series and keeps trying to go in, going boom, 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 there's going to be opportunities where Gomez does counter-strike, land combinations, and this is another one without a finish, and if it stays close, this is a bullshit fucking split. Ran all over. That's
Burrito
the
has
feeling
won
he's
5 fights in a row with 5 finishes in a row.
I
And his
know,
last
but
2 fights were Jonathan Pierce and Jack Short. If they couldn't
he was
take
losing
advantage
Jonathan
of it,
Pierce.
Gomez wouldn't isn't going to be able to.
Just no, he was losing Jonathan Pierce before Jonathan Pierce got cocky. And
Mhm.
then Burrito's like, oh, nah, fuck this shit. I'm mad as fuck.
But Pierce is twice the fighter that Gomez is.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll tell you right now, if it comes to a split decision, don't be shocked if Gomez wins, but I'll tell you right now, he's not going to score shit. I'll tell you that right. He's not going to score for shit. I'm
That's
probably going
fair.
to fade this fight because I have too many questions on it. I'm not going to parlay Burrito because, like I said, I got too many questions on this fight, but I am picking
I
Burrito.
don't. I'm
If
Burrito
you're more
locked in.
confident with Drake, then go with that. But I'm not touching this fight.
That's fair. But we are both on the favorite in Joe Anderson Burrito. Next up, we have the co-main event. We got Nasruddin Imavov going against Brendan Allen. Joey, where you at on this one?
I've actually had a lot of success picking both of these fighters as of late. A lot of people call me crazy picking Imavov over Cannonier. And I said it was gonna be some sort of a TKO. I cashed that ticket, thank God. Brendan Allen's been on what, second longest win streak at middleweight outside of Duplessis, I want to
7 in a
say.
row.
Yeah. And one thing I'll say, maybe this has something to do with it before I make my pick. If you tell me it's a 15-minute striking match, it's definitely gonna be Imavov probably by decision or maybe like a round 3, maybe like TKO of a sort. But if Brandon Allen, I'll give it to him. Throughout this win streak, he has been fighting smarter than his previous fights.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a thing that if you actually notice, if you watch the weigh-ins, you watch the face-offs, shit, if you even watch the walkouts, he has one of those cool little fuzzy hats. And you want to know?
That
No,
we're
no.
going up
There's a story.
past minutes.
There's a story behind this. Did you know who gave him that fuzzy hat? I'm probably mispronouncing what kind of hat that is, but you know who gave him that hat? Shavkat Rachmanov gave him that hat. And don't you know, ever since he got that fucking hat, he hasn't lost. I thought it was bullshit. Someone told me that, so I went back the past 7 fights. I watched the 7 past weigh-ins. He had that fucking cool furry hat. I think Brandon Allen wins this fight. The price tag is absolutely, I think it went down to see. Plus 165 for Brandon Allen. That's absolutely fucking bonkers. The only thing I'll say is I wish he wasn't having all that outside noise, like the whole fight with the casino. But he did piece up Marvin Vettori. That shit was funny as fuck. But Vettori did have one hand he was using, so eh. But if Brandon Allen comes in like he has been, mixing his striking, getting takedowns, I know Imavov is a slow starter at times, and that could definitely give the advantage to Brandon Allen. That was my second choice as a dog option for a Planet Flag, and I think Brandon Allen can get a decision win in France if he just wins control time and does damage. But you know what? I'm gonna make a bold statement. I'm gonna say Brandon Allen by submission, and then he calls up for a potential title fight. I don't mean he'll get it, but he's gonna call saying, "I am on the now probably the next biggest win streak. I want the title fight," and I think Brandon Allen gets a sub.
I think he's still one fight away from a title fight. It'd be this one and one more. Um, that said, I am also on Allen. I've been on Allen every fight, I think, in his UFC career. So you could say that I'm a big Allen backer, but I just, during his win streak, we've seen an evolution to Brendan Allen, and it's not just with his ground game, which used to be his really just his only calling card. Now his striking has evolved, and the way that he nearly outstruck Chris Curtis. He took down Chris Curtis, I think, 6 times. And Chris Curtis going into that fight had like a almost a 90% takedown defense rate. He stuffed everybody. If Allen's able to take him down, there's not a single person in the UFC he's not going to be able to take down. The second that he starts feeling any type of trouble in this fight, he's going to take this to the mat. He's going to go for the back, and I do agree. I do think that he submits it, my love.
I'll be playing that submission prop, which I have no idea what the fuck it's at right now.
That's probably like 600 or something like that.
If it is, I am smashing the shit out of that prop.
So both of us are on the dog in Brendan Allen. His submission prop currently.
Okay, if I say you got your computer, I don't feel like checking shit online.
If I can find it. Well, inside the distance, Brendan Allen is plus 450.
Oh, that could be safer and keep
Oh,
those.
man, look at that. Submission to 600. Nailed it on the head.
Oh, I'll put a nice little sprinkle on it. But I'll probably play both though to be safe.
Yeah. But so both of us are on Allen. Next up, we do have our main event. We got Renato Moicano going against Benoit Saint-Denis. And I don't have a whole lot to say about this fight. Moicano is getting this fight because he got lucky as fuck against Jalen Turner, and that lucky he got knocked out, and Jalen
Oh, he
Turner
did.
decided to walk away like an idiot. And then he ended up winning the fight. So that's why he's getting this fight. BSD lost to Poirier last time out. He had a staph infection. He was not feeling fit to fight. That is all corrected and fixed. He should be back to his normal self. He should absolutely murder Moicano. And he is probably my favorite and best play on this slate.
So I was on Moicano in that fight, and I actually put a lot of money on Moicano by submission. I damn near had my heart shoot out of my ass when I thought Jalen Turner knocked him out and he walked away. I'm like, oh no. And then I was like, wait, the fight never started. Next round, got his back, submitted him. I was losing my shit and I almost did a backflip. And guess what? I can't do a backflip. But in this fight, this is a get right. This is why they put my boy Saint Denis on the main event. I think within under, I don't know what the over under is on the fight. I think it's over under 3.5 probably. If I had to educate a guess, I think
I'm
the
sure.
under. I probably think the under probably hits.
Well, me minus 5.5 because it's a 5 rounder.
Sometimes they do under 3.5, under 4.5. But
It is minus 5.5. And it's also
what?
massive. Huh?
What's the over under again?
for it's minus 5.5.
Minus what?
Wait, what do you look? Which one do you look?
No, what's the
Oh, you
over
talking
under
about
on round?
rounds?
Yeah,
Minus 1.5
one and a
is
half. Ew.
1.5. Under 1.5 is plus 120. Over 1.5 is minus 155. So they don't think it's going to last 2 rounds.
Yeah, okay, I was kind of hoping maybe for since it's a main event, and I'm not gonna lie, if Denis does what Denis I think he is gonna do, I'm not gonna lie, I would bull rush the shit out of Moicano.
Oh,
I
100%.
I think he can absolutely knock him out within the first 3 minutes, personally, if he does that method. But I'm curious of the game plan. He might punch and kick, move around a little bit, and then when the damage does happen to Moicano, I think maybe round two, maybe he gets a knockout, maybe
I
a
don't
little
know, man.
springy.
I think this ends in the first round. He's in France, dude. I mean,
Yeah, the
he
whole French crowd is gonna go crazy.
coming off of his loss, Moicano is not a good striker. He's got a very weak chin. I mean, this has game script written all over it.
I mean, like I said, you got to figure out what 9K options you want to play. This is 5 round fight, which I don't see it going five. So you got to think about how the 9K options with Saint Denis look. I know Saint Denis is gonna be high owned because he is the main event. So if you get leverage and you're not playing him, then you better hope that maybe he doesn't throw too much shots and the other 9K options score in the mid to higher 100s of a sort, which is potential to do that for a few fighters on here. Um, I don't know. I may not have the main event because I do like other 9K options above. No, because think about it. No, I'm
Oh,
gonna tell you why. There's two things that could happen that I don't play Denis. I think there's a chance that Omer Sy gets takedowns and then maybe gets a finish that's close to maybe 105 to 110-ish.
you know what? You don't play him. You just stay
Okay.
away.
And then watch, I don't play him. He's gonna score like 125 points, and then I'm like, what the fuck?
I wouldn't be surprised if he scored 140.
What do you think he's gonna get a quick bonus?
No, that'd be 120.
Oh yeah, he 120.
Us probably
But
at the knockdown.
yeah, if he gets a knockdown with it, I don't know. Like I've only fade a few main events. I try to always play safe and always try to bring in the main. But I am going Saint Denis. If you think Moicano can take him down, which I haven't seen many people at 10, the only way Moicano gets this is if Saint Denis tries to throw a crazy overhand, he misses, and then he tries to jump on him like a spider monkey and probably tries to grab the back. That's the realistic own way. If I give Moicano credit, he looked a lot better coming up weight at 55 than 45 because I think the cut was a tad harder. You know, if you're telling me you want to get different, Moicano, meh, I'll be kind of scared to do it because I think there's any chance he could get knocked out. But if you're playing Moicano, just play him by submission. He's not going to win decision. He's
Nope,
not going to knock out Saint Denis. So, if anything, it's probably Moicano by sub as a bet or don't even touch
for
Moicano at
sure.
all.
So both of us are on the favorite though, Benoit Saint Denis. That wraps up this UFC Paris card. Next week is UFC 307. I believe that is in Salt Lake City.
Yep.
That will be Pereira versus Roundtree. And if you honestly
Ooh.
are one of the people that thinks Roundtree is going to knock out Pereira, just you're ridiculous. So that card does have quite. I think that's also a
There's two title fights.
13 fight card, a 14 fight card. It's one of those two. Let's see.
Pennington and Pena.
12 looks like okay, so it's just a 12
It's
right now.
fine.
We have that OSP Ryan Span fight back.
Ugh.
Um, let's see. Stephen Thompson and Joaquin Buckley. Wow, we get to see Carla Esparza again. Oh joy.
It's probably gonna be her last fight, from what I heard.
Yeah, I saw that it's a retirement fight going against Tisha Pennington. Wow, Tisha and Raquel are fighting on the same card.
You want to know something? That's a rematch.
Yeah, I know it is.
They fought on Ultimate
Uh,
Fighter and Esparza won.
Marina Rodriguez and Lucindo, Dolidze and Holland. Kayla Harrison's back for her second UFC fight going against Ketlin Vieira. That's probably going to be an absolutely mauling, unfortunately.
Kayla Harrison right now is minus 750.
It's probably not even high enough. So we
Bro,
also
she
get
better
we
get
got the King of
takedown.
Rio, Jose Aldo is going against Mario
That's gonna
Bautista.
be a good one.
Can't wait to see Juliana Pena get rocked and just
Nope.
destroyed.
Nope.
Yep.
I'm telling you, one of those titles are gonna change. I'll be realistic. If anyone was gonna change, it's gonna be Pena.
Nope. It will be neither. You remember the last title fight where you were both wrong on both of them? Yeah. Who's
I'm
better
telling
on
you,
the
I'm not gonna
UFC
get wrong on
cards?
both this time. I'm not gonna get wrong on both times.
Unless
Because
you're
look, my heart, I'll say this right now. Pereira's gonna win, but my heart, and I would be excited to see Khalil. I like Khalil since he got in the UFC. But bias aside, there's a good chance Khalil gets knocked out within the first under 2.5. Realistically. I'll be real about that. That's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt me see him get knocked out potentially. But if Khalil wins, I'm probably gonna lose my shit. And I'll probably have Khalil by knockout as a little sprinkle. Just to be happy about.
well, we can discuss all that next week.
Yep.
As always, we appreciate you watching. We'll catch you then. Two really big fights next week, and we are excited for it. So,
Yes, sir.
okay, we'll catch you then.